Yeah.
Okay, council, we are going to take a vote to exit executive session and continue with regular session.
Motion.
We have a motion by Adeline. We had a second by Sharon. I will call for vote to exit. Eddie?
Yes.
Jeannie? Ella Mae? The two ladies are visiting with the Attorney General. Adeline?
Yeah, yes.
Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? Barry?
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, we are back into regular session to continue regular session at 1:53.
Okay, thank you for that. Before we move to public forum, we don't have any, we'll go to new business.
Okay. Okay, council, number one new business item, I'm the sponsor of that due to this being sent, and our Attorney General's not present, but he has sent me, and I sent you, emailed you copies.
Is this a payment in lieu of tax thing for different counties?
So,
We've talked about this before. haven't we?
yeah.
We've done it,
This is just-
we did it
yeah.
for,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Cool. So, but if you'll notice, I have your highlighted arrow down here, so it's to represent Cherokee County, Adair County, and Sequoia County. But it'll be the same agreement, but we'll just insert the different counties.
Second.
Understood that?
Okay,
That's
I need to back up, is, who made my motion, or who?
I
Jamie motion to accept it.
Frankie.
Frankie? Okay. Okay, council, that is, we are looking at new business item number one. Okay, and we had a motion by Jamie and a second by Frankie in support of that. I will call for vote. Eddie?
Yes.
Jeannie? Ella Mae? Adeline? Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, Chief and Council, thank you.
Motion carries.
Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Item number two.
Okay, as you will see in the revised agenda that I emailed and sent out, I have in red added agenda items, which we will know is number two. And it reads to approve or disapprove to rescind resolution 20 UKB 30, which reads approve all contracts to be presented to council in the future within 2 weeks prior to being approved by the corporate board. The sponsor of that is Council Benoit.
Yes, I think I've already said everything that I needed to say in regards to that. It's just, I don't like the idea of micromanaging the corporate board, and I think it's very detrimental for what we're trying to strive for, and that is for the better of the tribe as a whole. And my constituents, I have talked to a lot of them, and they feel like it was very detrimental. And when we did that, and I know that thinking back on it, hindsight's 20/20, but I wish we had tabled it until we had done a further investigation. And we really didn't do that. It was more like a knee-jerk reaction. We all just voted. And I, for one, voted very ignorantly. So in regards to that, I would like to get this passed if possible, if the rest of the council feels the same way I do. Because I really feel like as a whole, as a council, we have to make decisions that are better for the tribe as a whole.
Jason, I
Okay,
Second
2 weeks
that.
enough time?
Well, if you recall in our discussion, I believe if we go back and I'll ask the chairman, wasn't it noted in the act about a 30-day contract anyway? So what was an extension of another 2 weeks? But you already have it written in the act of the contract with the time frame. And that wasn't our discussion earlier regarding that in executive?
Let's
That's what I
just
thought.
rescind it to get it off.
Rescind it?
Let's
Somebody can make a
rescind it.
motion.
Yes.
You made
We'll
a
make a
motion.
motion, I'll make a motion.
Your motion is
You're
yours.
not gonna need it like the act says, for 30 days, is that what we're saying?
Well, no, this right here is, this one right here is different.
Okay, I see, I get it. Okay, so we're just rescinding that.
Yeah,
We can
that's
rescind
what
this.
With your second that?
Yes.
So with the,
Helen, seconded?
yeah, with the motion,
What's going on?
with the motion by
What's happening?
Councilman Norton, and second by Council Smith, it is to rescind.
Are we back in session?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that.
And I'm sorry,
Oh.
yeah, we went off.
What happened with this one?
We had enough
It
to
passed.
take a vote on.
We voted on the first measure on it.
What was that?
It was for the,
Number one,
Yeah, so-
item,
It's the housing pilot agreements
Yeah.
to the housing.
Payment of little tax.
yeah.
It's the what now?
Payment of little tax.
For the housing department, it's just an agreement with the counties to work out the tax issues.
Oh,
We've done it before for other counties, we just.
We did that in the meeting.
okay.
Housing meeting, we come up with.
Housing, yeah.
Treasurer and Council Bidwell, we're actually on item number 2 on the revised one. And we actually, Sharon stated her point as the sponsor of this one. And basically, we have a motion by Council Benoit and a second by Council Smith. And actually, the focus is just to rescind it. So we have a motion and a second. I'm fixing to call for vote.
Okay, but it does
For
say,
her, what you said, you
Hold
said
on.
on the actual, the corporate act, what it said.
Oh, yeah, the Corporate Board Act, as you know, in our earlier discussion, it already states a time frame of 30 days. So do you want, in here it adds like another 2 weeks. You're already given the time frame.
Be
right?
6
Isn't
weeks?
that what they
Are you,
said?
the 30 days?
So is it 2 weeks?
Grants.
Yeah, that's talking about the grants, but.
It says grants and contracts.
Oh, it
Yeah,
does?
it does say grants and contracts.
So you
Well,
already
anyway,
have
they're
the
supposed to give you a monthly report, so that would be
Yeah.
30 days.
So you already have a time frame set on those.
okay.
Sorry, Jeff, I thought it just said grants.
So that's not.
So the motion is to just rescind that.
Just
resolution.
rescind the whole
Yes.
resolution.
So actually, we get more of an advance to look at it anyway. I mean, it was 2 weeks that we had to look at it, and then now it's a month. So they have to get it to us 30 days in advance instead of 2 weeks in advance.
Okay.
So we actually have more time, and they have more time to go over it and everything.
No, in this motion, you guys are mandated to approve them.
No, it's not for us to
It says
approve.
approve all contracts to be presented.
Well, it shouldn't be.
That was what the vote was, that if you vote, you're approving that all contracts will be submitted, but not that those contracts have to be approved by
It
you.
says-
Right.
It's confusing,
It's not for the
yeah.
council to
The
approve.
wording of the wording of the resolution is to approve all contracts to be presented in the future within 2 weeks prior. It doesn't say anything about reviewing them, it says to approve them. That's what it says, approve them.
It does say that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't the intention.
Yeah, the
No, that
intention was
not
to
the
review.
intent. The intent was just to review.
I understand what
just
the
so that
intent
we-
was, I knew what it was, but whenever you guys
What's it
passed
mean?
it, that's what I said. This here, that doesn't even make sense.
So you won't even be approving them if you pass this, to rescind. None of that language will apply to anything. So,
So, and it actually, they gotta get it to us a lot sooner anyway, so the whole
already
thing
have.
works anyway. It's just that they weren't doing that, that's the thing.
that was the whole focus
That
of
was the
it.
whole focus, is that it never was happening.
Let's vote.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to call for vote for item number 2. Eddie?
Would you vote, Eddie? I'm sorry.
He abstained.
Oh.
Jeannie?
No.
Elaine?
I'm gonna vote yes because I found out, and Adam said, that agreement wasn't there. So that's what I was aggravated at.
Kathleen,
I'm gonna vote yes.
Frankie,
Yes.
Sharon.
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Barry,
Yeah.
Jeff.
I'm gonna make my decision on, we agreed in executive session that they would submit this to, as the corporate act. So I'm gonna say this right here, this item would be rescinded, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, council chief, motion carries.
Okay. Item number 3.
Chief, if I may present something on item number 3 before we start discussing, I want to discuss it a little bit. That's the tri-council thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It's already been canceled.
Yeah. Well, I understand, but we got to vote on this right here. I want to pass out to you all something here. On May the 4th, I think it was, let me see. Yeah, May the 3rd, Chief Hoskins made a declaration. It's on the second page. To the authorities in DC, I think I might have sent you that already, the Chiefs Act. And I wrote the Secretary of Interior, Assistant Secretary of Interior, Tara Sweeney. I read that, I saw that, and I just couldn't help myself, but I had to write her an email kind of in rebuttal to his declaration.
It's on what page?
Chief Hoskins' declaration is the second page. The front page is my email I sent to the Secretary, Sweeney. And what I'm saying to her is, I also sent an attachment. I don't know if y'all know David Cornsilk or not, but David's very knowledgeable. He's a very intelligent guy, and he's the coup. I think he's doing a role, but anyway, that's irrelevant right here. My point. He's put together a paper called "What the Chiefs 1970 Act Means." I don't know when he wrote that, but it's a summary of acts. And he did a very good job summarizing those acts. And so what I did was, I saw Charles Hoskins, Chief Hoskins' declaration. He submitted on May the 3rd of this year. And it has to do with the CARES Act. He says, I, Chuck Hoskins Jr., declare as follows. I am the elected principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, a federally recognized Indian tribe. I'm going to stop right there for a minute. He's the elected principal chief of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. He always has a tendency to leave that out. The Cherokee Nation's reservation comprises 4,447,715.7 acres of land located in Oklahoma with 385,193 tribal citizens. First of all, the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma has never had a reservation. I don't know if anybody in here will disagree with that, but you're welcome to if you want to. They started in 1976, and I don't believe there's ever been a 4 million acres of reservation set aside for the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. Now he's declaring this, and then he goes on, number 3, the Cherokee Nation, the nation, provides critical governmental services throughout the reservation. Again, there's no reservation. Including health care, housing, social service. Now, he's making a good sales pitch, and you can read the rest of it. But the very last line that he says there, I have personal knowledge of the facts stated herein, and if called to do so, I would competently testify to these facts. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed May 1st, and he signs it. So I read that, and I'm a little older than he is, and I think he was born about the same time Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma was born. And so I took it upon myself to send Madam Secretary. I said, please see the attachment that I have provided. I'm sure you've already seen the declaration of Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, Chief Hoskins claiming they are the nation. When you read the last paragraph of his declaration, it appears he stuck his head in his own noose by willing to testify to the stated facts. The Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma has never had a reservation. After you read the attachment, what the 1970 Chiefs Act means, written by one of Chief Hoskins' closest advisors, I believe you will agree someone at the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma has their facts distorted. I had a typo there, I should have been T-H-E-I-R. Or they are very confused. The Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma is a bogus entity that is fleecing the American taxpayer, and it is unfortunate they have been able to continue as long as they have. With all the business enterprises they own, one would think they could sustain providing service to the real Indians in their so-called tribe for quite a while. They've only got a little over 5,000 according to the blood quantum that the federal government set out. I hope I live long enough to see this scam that I refer to as the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma regime brought to justice. As I have stated before, you have the authority granted to you by Congress to bring a stop to the discrimination that is taking place to the real Native Americans in this country. Just do it, Madam Secretary. You have the support of the Assistant Chief of Nagatoo Band Cherokee Indians. Chief and I have sat down with her. Frankie and I have sat down with her. She's a very good friend to the Catouas right now. She's working on our OIWA lands. There's one more thing I want to mention, and it's on the very back page. I gave every one of you guys a copy of something. Because this tri-council thing is, in my opinion, I want out of it. I don't have nothing to do with those people. They've cost us no telling how many millions because our casino shut down, and over the 40 years they've brought a lot of financial harm to the Catouas people. Now, we've got a young, a baby boy that has been taken from one of our family members here a couple years ago, and the suit's pending right now in federal court. And this back page I gave you right here, this was sent out of the Muskogee office. This is not confidential information, it's public. It's telling them, Chief Bill John Baker right here in March of last year, a little over a year ago, that a meeting they held there at the Bureau of Indian Affairs in the Eastern Oklahoma region inquired as to how to get their 1999 Constitution approved. If they're inquiring how to get it approved, that means it's never been approved. Does anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, that's true.
Now that 99 Constitution gave them that court system they have down there, and that Indian Child Welfare Office they've got down there, where they have disrupted many, many Cherokee families in this area right here. And so with this statement, I want you all to have this so you can show it to your constituents in your area, because I've had some of their own registered citizens call me and asked me after they saw what's taking place to one of our own tribal members here. And I said, I can't help you because I'm not a CNO registered citizen. I encourage you to go to your attorney generals or whoever and fight your own battle. So read that. That's for your own deal. Now these are some of the reasons why I don't want to have anything else to do with them. I haven't had anything to do with them since I've been in office. And they brought not only financial harm to me and my family since 1992, but also other people like Councilor Smith down here. Brought a lot of financial harm to her and her dad. They took their smoke shop and took it and just hauled it away. I know I got a friend that would love to come to this council and tell everybody what happened to her and her dad over at Watts. About $44,000 they took. So I don't want to have nothing else to do with them. That's my say on this resolution.
That's why I didn't go to North Carolina last year.
Yeah. All right. The only thing that I'm going to say is indefinite, to remove it from indefinite, I would remove it for just the virus.
You're trying to soften it up, Joe.
Well, yeah, I am. And I've told you before, I'd rather have my enemies close to me than close
Joe,
to my
the people
friends.
down there have never done nothing but try to wreck the UKB, and you know it as well as I do. So don't sit there and tell me you don't.
What am I telling you? Okay, we're going to vote.
When this was brought up before, you done the same thing. You wanted to start slowing it down, just do it just like he said was gonna do it. Forever.
You get to vote.
Make it forever.
You making
You
the
wanna change
motion?
the word,
I'll make a
you wanna make it
I'll
forever.
make the motion.
I'll make a
Motion,
motion.
Barry.
Are you making the
I'm making
motion?
the motion.
I'll second.
Jamie motion, Sharon second? Who second?
Me.
Okay, then.
And this is forever, Jamie?
As long as, indefinite,
Yeah.
unless it's, voted, maybe it's some of our little children. We're setting an example here for the people coming on behind us.
Okay.
This thing's got my name attached to it, so I'm gonna have to make a comment on it. This, all started off in Cherokee, North Carolina. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but it's been a whole bunch of years. The three tribes got together down there and, decided that we wanted to be a three tribe together. You know, not separated, but work together. Well, that was all well and good. I thought that was probably the best thing that could ever happen to the three tribes of the Cherokee. Well, it went on and on and on, and everything just kept getting further to the Cherokee Nation's side, and the eastern band sat there just kind of with their mouth shut and didn't say anything. But when the UKB, I understand at one time some of our officials went to Cherokee Nation to ask for some help whenever we was financially burdened. And of course, I don't know what Cherokee Nation told them, or I don't even know who went to ask them, but I would assume it's some of our officials. But anyway, Cherokee Nation turned them down. And Eastern Band, same thing, they turned us down too. So, you know, they're saying that we're a tri-council, it doesn't even make any sense to me. It looks to me like that the UKB is the only ones that are trying to comply with anything that's going on. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we need any part of either one of those tribes. No part of it. But as far as putting a time limit on it, Joe, I don't think that's got anything to do with it. That's your opinion, you got your own opinion, but I don't see it that way. But these people have never done nothing but try to hinder us. Their whole objective has been to wreck the UKB, and anybody that's sitting around here disputes that is either a damn fool or a damn liar, one of the two. Just take your choice on it. But they've done nothing but try to put this tribe out of business. Their goal has always been to just tuck us right under and take our charter. That's what it's all been about, people. And there for a long time, we was just kind of sitting there and nobody was paying attention to us. But then all at once, we just kind of jumped up from nowhere, and they started paying attention then. That's when they wanted to start trying to wreck us. And anybody that says anything different, that's either a damn fool or a liar, one of the two. That's all I got to say.
I agree.
Thank you.
Let's vote.
Okay, we have a motion by Jamie, a second by Jeannie for item number 3, noted as other business. I will call for vote. Eddie?
No.
Jeannie?
Yes.
Ella
Yes.
Adeline?
Yes.
Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
No. No.
No? Okay. I'll vote. I vote no. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles?
No.
Barry?
Yes.
Jeff?
No.
Okay, council, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 under yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 under no. Motion carries, council.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. Item number 4.
That's no.
It will be other, noted as other business. And it's a carryover from executive session, say, or relevant to it. And it's to approve or disapprove to amend Chapter 3, Section 301, B2 of the UKB Corporate Board Act of 2015 by adding insertions as follows. 2A, all reference documents must be in writing. Such agreements and contracts must have legal review by corporate attorney before board approval. Appropriate documentation shall be attached to corporate board agenda notification, noting meeting notices, and to all council and ex officio members. I missed that, I think the sponsor of that is Jeannie. Okay.
And they agreed to all of that during the executive session.
So then we should pass the resolution, or make a motion.
I'll second that.
What was the motion?
So we're,
It's just to insert these things into.
Your motion is to amend the corporate board act.
To amend the corporate board act. It's just to amend the corporate board act to add these things in there to ensure that there's compliance, more or less. They agreed to everything that we've been talking about, so.
You know something, the corporate board act, as it's written right now, was written by Bill Rice. That's who this building's named after.
And I have no.
No, let me finish. I didn't interrupt you when you took off, so let me finish.
Saying I don't disrespect him.
This corporate board act, I have it right here in writing from the SBA in Washington DC. The lawyer sent this to us in 2016. This act was designed to codify and standardize the methods to be used by tribal council in implementing their plans for economic growth and stability for their members. It is extremely well written and covers all contingencies. SBA has told me in the context of the Tribal 8A application, it is the best corporation framework document they have seen from any tribe in the United States. That's something that Chief and I and I can't remember who all was on the corporate board at the time. I think Alway and JC was on there when we was working on this thing. Bill Rice did this, and it was, I don't know, if something, it don't make any sense to me to try to amend something that is the best framework there is and build upon it. One thing I did learn, there's a couple of investors that's watched this council meeting from last March 7th. And they called and they made some comments about this resolution. Now, obviously, we rescinded the one here, but they said they're very, very, I think even John mentioned that earlier today, that they're very, apprehensive about investing with this tribe when you have a council that is involved in the business board. And if you're going to handcuff the council with, the corporate board with doing things, then I don't even need a corporate board.
I agree, that goes right back to micromanaging corporate.
So it's your motion, but
You call it.
it's been seconded, so I guess you can, you motion to approve to amend, I can vote.
Let me add to that, okay? I have no disrespect for the man that wrote this. And the thing is what everyone has to understand, is just because something is written, is very well written, it doesn't mean that sometimes there is change that needs to occur. Had we gotten the contracts that we have requested, or even gotten any communication stating that they were advised to not give them to us, it would be a whole different story. But none of that was communicated. This here is just me or asking this council to ensure that these things are abided by, and that's it. It's not to micromanage, Sharon, so I wish you would not say that I'm micromanaging
That
anything.
is micromanaging.
It is not
I
micromanaging.
don't care how you
This
say
is a
it,
law
it's
that will be written
micromanaging.
in, that will be written
Vote.
into the
Let's
corporate
vote.
act.
Point of order here.
Let's vote.
Get your point.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
But it's not micromanaging, it's just ensuring that these things are set in place. They're set in place so that things are managed properly by the corporate board, and that's it. It's just to make sure that we, as the council, who are ex officios, we have just as much right to know everything going on within the corporate board. And this is just to ensure that this happens. On another note, there probably are many tribes out there that their corporate boards are not separate from the councils going on.
You're probably right about that, but
And that shouldn't be.
your successful ones have complete autonomy. That's been surveyed many times.
You're not successful.
Same thing
Hey,
we
there.
just done.
Successful tribes, she was talking about tribes.
Second,
You said the,
So, like I said, this is not, it's not any intent against anyone, it's just to improve our corporate charter, or our corporate, our corporate board act, that's all it is. It's just to improve it. And everything, anything and everything is subject to improvement. You can always improve everything. And if you think that just because there's a letter A put in there, that letter A is supposed to stand there because times change. And that's all I have to say.
okay, thank you.
I have a question. Just to reiterate, some questions, and since the chairman is present here. I'm going to assume that in the meetings, documentation is presented on any kind of business, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
we won't even talk to you about this if a business
They just
plan
come
to
in
present.
and just throw a pitch out
You
there.
know,
with nothing on the
Mr.
table.
Wakachi was talking about a used car shop, a mechanic shop, and things over there the other day to the people at the clinic. And telling them what you wanna do, you know, funeral home, stuff like that. And those are great ideas. But he'll have to bring a business plan, which he understands that, to show how those will be done. So that's all presented before the board. And the board members vote on that. I don't ever vote unless there's a tie.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
anyway.
The second one, I believe, we just heard from a legal aspect that they are reviewed. Now, correct me if I'm
She
misunderstood.
did say that there was some contracts
Yeah.
that she was not able to review before they were
I said
approved.
she didn't review all of them.
Okay. But they are reviewed by the legal.
No,
Not
she
all
is
of
not.
them. Yeah, not all of them.
She
Not all
did
of
say
them.
that there was some contracts that had been set in place that she did not have the privilege of reviewing. And that's where we got into the review approval. It's not that I meant for her to approve it, but just for her to review it, so she could give her opinion.
Okay, so, now, on the last one, there is at some point, it's confidential, so to speak, so when an agenda is sent out, you don't want to insert all that confidential information, because some of that has sensitive nature. That's how I'm looking at it. You don't want to send that out. That would be within the board's review. So, but if this is passed, then that means all that documentation will have to be presented in the meeting notices.
Yeah, and let me ask another question. This is a legal question for our AG. If this amendment is put into that document, any agreements we have right now with companies that's based on it, but we have to carve out some language that, you understand where I'm going with this thing for future? I mean, ones we already have agreements with, it won't affect, it's not effective or something that.
Yeah, the way I read it is it would only apply to things you do in the future.
So the ones we have now, they won't affect them.
Right, they're already
It
done.
doesn't retro back. It
Right.
only begins if this is passed. Right? Well, those were just my questions, because I know a lot of this was mentioned earlier, and that's just where I'm.
Okay.
Okay, my.
And that really, looking at it, that's really not too much to ask for, really. Ask for the council to review it. And when I say council, I mean the lawyer, the attorney.
The attorneys.
Yes, to review the
And I'm not
contract.
Well,
I'm not saying you
I
have to.
understand what you guys are saying. Okay, we just took some bids the other day on pouring some concrete over there. It was like, I don't remember what it was, $2,000 or $3,000. We did get the concrete poured. What you guys are saying is that contract's got to be sent off to the attorney. I mean, those are, the LDF contract, yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Those contracts need to be reviewed. But according to what you guys say here,
Every contract.
yeah, everything's going to be, let's vote on it, you know, if it passes, it passes, you know, so. You made your point.
The thing is with this whole deal, if your legal does the review, if she finds something wrong or something alarming or something that she can bring your attention to, because you know, the thing is we're all human. We're all human and we all make mistakes. There could be just the little bittiest of a mistake in just the simplest contract. And it could be something that she could point out to you that could ultimately save money, time, or just the general welfare of everybody and everything concerned, if that makes any sense to you.
That's why the corporate board has professional people.
That's why I do feel as though
They
they
have
also
intelligence.
need
They're
their
smart
legal,
people.
that, I didn't say that they weren't. I
Why
didn't
should we
say they weren't.
micromanage what they're doing?
I did not say, and what did I say? I'm
Take
not
a voice.
micromanaging anything.
Fair, I was looking at it. Okay,
Let's vote.
Let's go.
we're going back and forth again.
Let's vote.
Let's go.
Ready to
Let's
vote?
go.
We'll
Yes
get a
or no,
motion.
either way.
Yes,
It's already been made.
Motion
Second.
made and second?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Jeannie and a second by LMA. In reference to item number 4, noted as other business, I will call for vote. Eddie?
No.
Jeannie?
Yes,
LMA?
Yes.
Adeline?
No.
Frankie?
No.
Sharon?
No.
I vote no. Peggy?
No.
Jamie?
No.
Charles?
Yes.
Barry?
No.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, council, under yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Under no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Water.
And motion fails.
Okay, thank you, council. Item number 5.
Okay, before,
George,
yes, sir,
after we get through with this one, I've got one request to make after
okay.
when we get done.
Item number 5 is to ratify to approve the submission of a grant request to the IMLS, and that was Ernestine Berry. And if you see, it says, keep in mind the grant deadline was 5/15, but for receipt of a completed submission, a request was for the submission to be sent on 5/13. I sent an email in reference to that. My question is, Chief, did she get that sent yesterday? Because she
Yes, I
had
did.
told me it was for Friday, so it, okay.
Yes,
So this is basically to ratify it.
Is that the one that we get here at the library?
no,
No, this one will be
this is,
the
she
one
goes
of
to a contractor.
a revital,
Let her answer.
and this will be the one regarding the revitalization of the language.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Wait a minute, I got a question. I think I know what you're talking about. Is this to,
This
I
is,
saw something about better for education, or was that you that said something about, okay, now what?
Yeah, my thing is, I just was hoping that in that instance, that she could be able to correlate with the education department.
We have had, didn't we have a gentleman come?
Yes, we
Spring
did,
or
back in
last fall, we were
December,
talking
back
about,
in December,
Steve
yes.
Eckert
Yeah,
from the SIL.
is that the same thing we're talking about?
This is the same
That's
thing,
it,
and this is
yeah.
really just a pilot program. It's $150,000, if awarded. We don't even know if she's gonna get it, but this is awarded. That's the amount.
Council Benoit brought him, and then his fee was his fee?
Yes, crazy.
Is his fee still in line with it? I mean, he'll get a motion.
Yeah, he will be included in the grant.
So we're gonna use his program that he presented for the.
But it's gonna include all the elders.
I'm not against
Our
our-
Cherokee speakers.
Yeah, I'm not against our language, I think our language.
I'm not against our language either.
I don't agree with his teaching philosophy, but
Yeah, I don't-
that's okay, I mean, that's my
But
opinion.
if
He's
you-
gonna be paid out of the grant.
Yeah, we won't be paid that.
But if you have read my email in reference to that, and I'll try to remember.
He's gonna be paid for that, this
But
grant
he
here.
will be paid, SIL, Steve Eckert, will be paid from that. Now, this doesn't define all 9 districts. If you're in between 2016 and 2018, a survey was done. So Tahlequah District and Delaware District was the ones that have been chosen because they had the biggest feedback on the survey on this. Because it's a pilot, if it goes further and grandfathers into a larger amount, then you can include all 9 districts. But they're gonna be teaching that. It's not reading and writing, it's only the language, only the speaking.
That's where they do this, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what this is how this is gonna take, but again, it's just a pilot program. We don't know if she'll get the award or not, but it's just to submit for it,
Yes.
so.
That's when you all went to the library at J, your mom and.
Yeah.
So I will need a motion to ratify.
This is that guy.
Katie?
Eddie, I need a
He came
second.
here.
Charles?
Oh, okay.
So did the,
Okay, council.
Okay, motion.
Who made a motion?
Eddie. I thought he was already voting.
Andy's motion to
They wouldn't
approve.
even give them
Yeah.
the
Okay.
wording of
And
the
then it's
actual.
two just to ratify.
Ratified to submit the grant, isn't it?
Yeah, just to ratify,
They need to-
because I have to put a number to the
They
resolution.
didn't get nothing.
Can I ask you a question? This is to ratify the grant submission. It doesn't even
No,
say we're gonna
okay.
get it or
No,
anything.
that just
Yeah.
allows her to submit it.
Right.
Which she done, we just
Yeah.
ratifying this submission.
That's what I want to
and let me ask another question. Are this person that came and talked to us, are they already included in, if she gets this grant, they're already
Yeah, she has to
included in
put
it?
them in that language of the
Oh.
grant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like we can go back and say no or nothing. They're gonna utilize his program.
Yeah,
To
I
do
had questions when he came that he didn't really answer,
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
very clear.
because there were some statements in his pamphlet or papers that he gave us that really, he put himself out there that I didn't think he could really do. And his answer when I asked about that wasn't
He
really,
never answered you
Yeah.
completely.
so okay, I get it now.
So our understanding, let's just say we are awarded, that if it isn't he's used, then we'll see the benefits of his program.
And if you don't have any benefits, if no money lost, the government's gonna pay for the
Yeah.
thing anyway.
But, you know, we.
I just wish in the beginning it would have kind of included the education department because I believe that they could take it a lot
I
further.
think at the time that this was, when we first came, that I don't think the education department that we have now, the committee that we have
Right.
now, was actually
They
in.
weren't real,
informed.
they weren't informed of this
Yes.
here at all.
And I don't think they were actually formed, were they?
Yeah,
Because we
because they
had-
did do a present, did they not?
We
do a
had one
presentation
way
this
back.
month?
Yeah, it's not the same education
Yeah.
committee that we have now.
Right.
Can we vote?
Yes, sorry, I'm just trying to, clarify myself.
Okay.
Do everything.
Yeah.
Katie and Charles, okay, here we go.
Okay, we have a motion by Eddie and a second by Charles to ratify. I will call for vote. Eddie?
Yes.
Jeannie?
Yeah.
Ella May?
Yes.
Adeline?
Or,
Frankie? Sharon?
Yes,
I vote yes. Peggy?
Yeah, I want to see what these people can do. See what all that.
Jamie?
Yeah.
They're all that,
Charles?
Yes.
Barry?
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, chief council motion carries.
Okay. Thank you.
I know Charles said that he
Yeah.
said that he had something. I also, since we weren't able to, actually have a public forum, I don't know if all of you guys seen the email that one of they had sent, I think it was last night, I think.
I didn't see it was last night.
Okay, so, I'm gonna have Clint just to read that email to everybody whenever he gets back in here.
Did you get that from everybody?
You did something?
No,
Yes, okay.
I only have like 4 copies.
Go ahead.
It's been like.
Yeah, before Clinton.
Yeah.
Well, last year I talked to the assistant chief and then Eldine, a few people about the 2 acres in Kenwood right there beside the
For the
school.
store reform.
Yeah. And then, but nothing's been done, and I wanted to put a cellar in there that could be used by the community or the school,
That's a good idea.
you know? So that's what I want.
Okay, I don't know if court board can do that though, but I think that can be done through the,
Environmental.
housing, or maybe environmental, or one of those departments, I believe. You're talking about like a big storm shelter.
Yeah.
That's great, that's a good idea, yeah.
Lottery has up there.
Oh, okay, like they've got, yeah, that'd be for the school. I don't know why we couldn't do that. What they did, they put, I know about the Lowry one because my friend is on that school board up there. And they had a bid to do like a storm shelter that would accommodate a certain amount of people, similar to what we got over here on that bid. They didn't have, their grant they got wouldn't suffice the cost, so they went with all those little storm shelters in the ground. They wasn't really satisfied with that. But I think with this $24 million, that's something we probably could think about, you know what I'm saying? And build a nice one, probably each community. Those are ideas that we can bring to the table on the 30th. I don't know, that's great. Now we got money.
Yeah, but we also have to worry about, like right now, too, the social distancing, so
30th at 10 o'clock, how about
Frankie.
what we're thinking?
30th at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
May the 30th at
That announcement you want. We put that under announcements.
That'd be under an announcement.
Special meeting.
Okay,
May.
all right, thank you.
Hold on, we're waiting on Clint.
The Dr. Hall.
Yes.
I have a question about, we
Hang on,
talked,
hang on. Yes,
at one point in time, we talked about hiring an EDTO. Has that ever been put out there? I mean, has Sarah done anything with that, or does she
Really?
have to have our approval?
We don't have
Really?
the money.
I think what John mentioned was what we've said all along. Now we may have the opportunity to do that, do both of them. But
Okay.
let's discuss that.
We can discuss that on the 30th. I mean, if that's something that we could probably work into our career document. If there's any way to be able to do that.
Do what?
What's the suggestion?
For EDTO and
EDTO.
comptroller.
Oh, yeah.
I think the comptroller is more than needed.
I think so too. My group's been comptroller.
Here again.
Needed more than EDTO.
Okay, any council announcements, comments?
We're waiting on Clint.
I've got something I want to comment, George, make sure that you get that resolution brought up and get each one of these council people a copy of it. I'm tired of hearing all this stuff. We're running everything into the ground. It's ridiculous what's going on. Talking over each other and doing everything else.
Okay.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Mary, we all ain't seen each other in a while. We're just showing each other love.
Excuse me? I guess I've got the biggest mouth of the whole damn bunch, but tell you, we're gonna do it in order. You don't just jump up and say, hey, the hell with that. You gotta get permission from that guy sitting right there before you open your mouth.
There was a
That's really ridiculous what's going on here
was
right
an
now.
email sent by tribal members.
I think you would agree with that.
Oh, man.
What do you think, Peggy?
Why can't the council members read the email that they got?
Because Clint's agreed to read it.
Why do we have to have it
Clint's
read?
agreed to
Let's
read it.
move forward.
Clint's agreed to read it. No, we don't.
He's outside talking.
Oh, boy.
Like I said, they gonna kill all you, you'll see.
Has the Attorney General already left?
Yeah, he's already, no, he's coming back.
That's all, what?
Whoa.
Hey, did everybody understand the email that I sent out about what we were gonna try to do when we open up? As far as safety procedures and all that? Okay.
I do.
I hope I explained it good enough.
Okay. I'll be bringing the, at the May 30th meeting, I'll be bringing the, proposal for the, key card.
Yes, I have that too.
And I'll leave those books, so I can present it to them.
I can get some, I got some updated other ones too.
I apologize, I got sucked into
And
the
that's not just
conversation.
for
Okay.
this COVID-19 thing, it's for even after that's over.
Even after it's
Gina wants me to
over,
read
it will,
on
with
Lizzie.
that,
Yeah, I don't
Make our
think that's
building
really
more
necessary,
secure.
but at the same time.
and
Well,
leave
that's
it-
part of
what
the
is
public
it?
forum.
Is council?
It's not part of the public forum.
wherever they want.
An email is not part of the public.
I just,
Oh,
okay,
she's saying there's no public forum today, so she
It's
wants me to
something
read
that-
on behalf of
yeah.
Monterey
A
what
lot of places are going
in the
to.
public.
which would have been in public forum. Because this meeting was supposed to be restricted to council only.
Go fast,
Okay,
go fast.
Guys,
Here we go, let's not.
all right, good evening, I've only got 4 minutes, right?
Okay.
Go.
Good evening, council. I respectfully request that you read this in its entirety. Okay. One, on January 7th, 2020, Chief Joe Bunch was impeached on 5 counts as follows. I'm just going to summarize them. Violation of the UKB Constitution and criminal conspiracies, which led to a delinquent audit. B, gross negligence, a failure to complete the audit on time. C, improper influence, voting during a council meeting for the purpose of preventing a reappointment of an imagined political enemy. D, conspiring with others to overthrow the corporate board and attempted overthrow of 2 members of the board. Number 2, the council failed to follow the impeachment code. Section 6 of the impeachment, 6K of the impeachment code reads, if the council votes for impeachment, the official shall be immediately removed from the position pending the outcome of any appeal in the UKB District Court. A, after voting on the 5 counts, Eddie Sachs, for his own motives, knowingly broke the law by making a motion to censure the chief. Adding insult to injury, no censure has been issued today. B, the council then voted whether the chief should be removed, and the majority voted no. The impeachment code does not state that a vote is required. As stated in the code, it's immediate removal. This was an illegal motion and should have been struck down. C, Eddie Sachs and Joe Bunch both participated in the Wycliffe impeachment hearing and were very much aware of what the impeachment code says, but they chose to let the council's ignorance of the law work to their benefit. The motive for Eddie was to dodge his own treasonous participation in both overthrow actions. Some action needs to be taken against Eddie for this. He manipulated the impeachment hearing so he wouldn't have to face impeachment charges. D, 2 other individuals besides Eddie were involved in the overthrow and the attempted overthrow of the corporate board. Former Tahlequah Representative Teresa Weber and corporate board member Eldine Stevens. Some action should be taken against them in accordance with Section 208 of the Corporate Board Act. E, after 4 months, the council has failed to take any action against Joe Bunch for the 5 counts for which he was impeached. Because no action has been taken against him, Joe Bunch has been going along as if he were a chief in good standing, making executive decisions. During this pandemic, he published 2 executive orders of which he has no authority. F, when the information came down from the federal government of a conference call concerning stimulus money, Chief Bunch didn't share the information with the supreme governing body. When the money came in again, he didn't share this vital information with the council. Now I hear he's patting himself on the back and 2 others on getting the money. What a joke. G, this lack of non-action brings to mind the director you forced to resign. The assault and battery was committed by a CNO citizen. The council chose to take the CNO citizen's side, treating her like a victim, and improperly taking action against a valuable UKB employee. Swift action was taken against this individual and no action against Chief Bunch. I surmise none of your family members would be treated like this. G, what is contained in the censure? I believe the censure should exclude him from performing any further duties without the express written approval of the council and disqualify him from seeking another term. 3, Corporate Board Act, removal of corporate board members. I submit both Eldine Stevens and Eddie Sachs are not suitable to serve on the corporate board because of their participation in the conspiracy to overthrow and or attempt to overthrow the corporate board. Charges were filed against the ringleader and he was impeached for it. As co-conspirators, they broke the law and should be removed from the corporate board after notice of a hearing for misconduct in office in accordance with Section 208 of the Corporate Board Act. A, Eddie Sachs nominated himself to get on the corporate board in November or December, a board that he was removed from. I sent Jeff Wilcochi an email outlining the unauthorized payments Eddie had received while he was on the former CAB board, and Jeff, after knowing Sachs' history, still made the motion to accept him to the corporate board. For example of due diligence, a violation of the Code of Ethics and the Corporate Board Act. B, the email I sent Jeff is attached. C, the appointment of Eddie Sachs is in violation of Section 103G of the Corporate Act, which stipulates that the federal corporation's purpose is to provide clarification of its function and providing for the proper appointment of its leadership, and also in violation of the Code of Ethics. You don't place a person who committed malfeasance to be reappointed to the same position. The chairman of the CB was fully aware of the actions of this appointee, but did not refute this appointment. The chief was aware as well, but encouraged the appointment. D, the corporate board is the former CAB board, and prior to that was the Economic Development Authority. The EDA board set a stipend amount of $150 for each meeting. When it evolved to the corporate authority board, Charlie Locust, deceased, Tim Goodvoice and Brian Shade were appointed to the council. Brian Shade resigned at some point, and Charlie Locust asked Cliff Welford to join CAB without council approval. After appointment, no reports as required by council were ever submitted to council. They determined to make their own decisions without accountability to the council. At some point, CAB increased their stipend from $150 to $300. E, Eddie Sachs gets on the board without council approval in December 2013. This resulted in the unauthorized payments mentioned in the Wilcochi email. F, Eddie was paid $8,700 for a total of 29 meetings in a 17-month period, at times meeting five times a month, some lasting less than 15 minutes, to collect the stipend, and received an additional unauthorized bonus of $2,000 for starting up loan companies, which were failures. He was never authorized by council to sit on the board, and the board was never authorized to receive $300 a meeting. He received payments of over $61.50 for meetings and an unauthorized bonus of $2,000. Total restitution Eddie Sachs should pay is $81.50. G, the chief at this time was impeached for this action. There was no restitution ordered for the remaining guilty individuals. Those individuals who received unauthorized payments who are still living are Eddie Sachs, Clifford Wofford, and Tim Goodvoice. H, Eddie Sachs sits on 2 tribal entities and is paid $150 a month for each board or commission. His appointment to the corporate board is in violation of Resolution 18 UKB 64, approved to amend the wording of the Corporate Board Act to hold one position only. This was one of the impeachment charges Joe Bunch faced, yet it continues to be violated to this day. It is obvious that this law was passed to harass or oppress one person. At this point in time, Eddie Sachs holds a corporate board member position, tax commission member, unknown if he holds an office. If he does, he holds 2 positions in the tax commission, and he is a council member, a total of 4 positions. Corporate board chairman Jamie Thompson holds 2 positions in CB, and he is the 1 position on council as assistant chief, and he is on the housing board, a total of 4 positions. 4, Tahlequah district representative. I'm disappointed in the actions of my district representative. In October 2019, he physically assaulted me after a council meeting, which I reported. After he left the building, he verbally assaulted another tribal member, and she also reported the incident. To date, no action has been taken on either case. This free advice is for Representative Wilcochi. Individual members of council have no authority to make demands of staff or employees. The authority you have is a member of the supreme governing authority. By the way, I served 22 years in the U.S. military. I wonder where my veteran's jacket is that you handed out last year. I'm kidding on the last sentence. I don't want anything from you except to serve the people with integrity, which I have not seen today. 5, a few months ago, the subject of the tax commission came up during a council meeting. This brings to mind term limits and stipends. A resolution was passed a few years ago that stipends would no longer be paid for serving on boards, committees, etc. Yet the tax commission continued getting stipends. Was there an exemption granted at the time? B, the CB did get council approval for their stipend. C, the tax commission laws state 5-year term limits, yet the current members of the commission have been on there for years. D, I don't recall reappointments nor stipends being approved by the council in the 10 years I've been coming to the meetings. 6, 2018 audit. The chief was impeached for failing to complete the 2017 audit on time. B, council, please don't let the 2018 audit go delinquent. On June 30th, the tribe will be 2 years late, again subject to level 2 sanctions. C, since no censure has been presented to the chief, I'm sure he thinks he's still in charge of the audit after a proven failure. Every council member has a fiduciary duty for the completion of the single audit. The chief was impeached because he took on that responsibility. Both the chief and secretary supervised the accounting office at the time. 7, hiring of key personnel.
15 seconds.
A few months ago, I presented a solution to the council that would have allowed the council to hire a comptroller and executive director. This requires a decrease in pay for the council. I recommended that the council representatives, not officers, make adjustments to the monthly stipend for filling these 2 positions. B, recruit and select. Okay, just 2 more sentences. It is obvious the hiring process failed in the last 2 individuals. A little due diligence goes a long way. Until these 2 positions are filled, you always have audit issues, and the chief will always attempt to take a role as executive director, for which he is not qualified. If these individuals are hired, it would improve tribal operations and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. With all due respect, I thank you for reading. If you did, I pray you have a productive meeting.
Kim? Where we at now? What's your problem?
I got a question. I mean, that's a long-winded, I didn't just read all that. I seen it this morning, and I don't have time to read it all. This, she brings up some pretty good points there, I'll have to admit. At one point, no disrespect, but since he has been evicted, is that gonna have anything to do with this care, that ain't got to do with the CARES Act money, huh? I mean, we're still gonna get the money.
Yeah, no,
That was one I wanted to make sure.
Only if you're a felon, right, that you don't get the money, yeah. To when the felon.
In reference to that email for the tax commission, she names the tax commission, so it would be in the best interest for her to address her tax commission concerns to the commission. So at the next, when we get to meet, then I will ask that she be present, and she can ask the commission regarding those.
Right.
And in regards to the accusations of me assaulting her, there's a video camera in the cafeteria in there. And there's video proof that I don't know what she's talking about. She must not realize that there's a video camera facing this way. So there's no proof of that right there. So for her to slander me like that, that's, that's not right. So, but that's just my take on it. Because, there's video right there, and she must not realize that the video camera's facing this way. Plus, we have Facebook video facing this way.
Sure. In reference to me, I'll be willing to resign off of any and all boards if that's gonna make everybody happy, so I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I've talked to Ms. Lucas about this, that resolution was intended, and the wording may be poor, but it was intended to make sure someone on the corporate board didn't also work for the corporate board. It was directed
I
at the
remember when
corporate
it all
board.
took place, yeah.
So, and I told her that that's my opinion
In
about it.
June,
And in the same aspect, was she or was she not kind of forced to give up other positions that she held, correct?
No, I think it was only the being employed by the corporate board and being on the corporate board. I'm not aware that she had any other positions.
she
Yeah.
wasn't really an employee of the corporate board, that was her
Yeah.
term, she was a contractor.
Yeah.
Her term ended, and then.
No,
This is
I know,
before,
but this
yeah.
is,
It's before her
she
term
just,
ended.
what she's referencing in here is the actual, resolution that states, and I think I brought this up before too, like a long time ago, that nobody will hold 2 seats, It's
In the
like,
corporate
if you're,
board.
if you're,
In
if
the
you're on
corporate
the,
board.
if you're on the corporate board, if you're on another board, if
Housing
you're on
board,
another
housing board, I'm on the housing board, I'll get off. Can't get
That
away.
was not the intention of the resolution. The vote was for corporate board to not be, anyone on corporate board couldn't also be employed by.
Corporate board, we've just been, it's bad.
No, it's.
I think I'll get off of it and then everything's happy.
What else?
I think that was it. That was the last thing we was waiting on to read that, tribal members.
I apologize, I got stuck in a conversation with.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, announcement. Is there any announcement before you adjourn?
We can't have meetings, can we? Council, district meetings? Okay.
It's advised against right now.
Yeah.
30th, is that gonna be a call meeting? I mean, it's gonna be,
No.
it's just gonna be like we did on the.
Special meeting?
Just come together, not official.
I'd just like to thank,
Well, wait a minute, how would you approach that? That's
Well,
it.
you might want to do an official special meeting because you may make decisions that
Right.
you need to vote on. But other tribes that I know of have done things like establish a committee and pay a committee to come up with ideas for how to
Think
spend the
tank,
money.
think tank type of situation or something like that. We
Yeah.
got members out here that we could let them do some of this.
Yeah, you can employ people who are working on how to spend the money.
I think that's a good idea. We got a lot of elders out here that could use a little extra money.
All right?
I'd just like to thank, I work for Cherokee Nation Home Health, and the administrator and the CFO agreed to allow our volunteers to deliver the Meals on Wheels for the Katu Elders Program. So for the last month, they've been delivering the Meals on Wheels with Archie, helping
Great.
Archie out up there.
Thank you.
So I would like to thank April Moore and Matt Rucker and Clint Pennington and Penny Gifford and and Archie for all his help and everything. I've actually went out and delivered two when Clint couldn't do it, so just come up and so, helping out the community whenever we can. They have 11 deliveries that they have to deliver each day, and so,
If anybody else has helped their people.
Charles
Yeah,
seconded.
I've been buying
Made the motion. Don't know?
I made the motion.
Okay. Or do we have benediction?
Who seconded?
Charles.
Charles.
You not run on that thing.
Without the list of Frankie.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Father, thank you, Lord, for another day. Father, thank you, Lord, for the many blessings, Lord, you're providing us, Father. And Father, I just pray, Lord, that you just help us, Lord, to work as one. And Father, be with those who are out there, Lord, that are working the front lines, Father, the nurses, the doctors, just everybody who's first responding, Father. Father, I just pray, Lord, that you just help us just get through this, Lord. And Lord, I just ask, Lord, that you just watch over us on our way home back to our families, protect our families, Father. And Father, I ask, Lord, for safe traveling grace. Father, in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.